Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to this week's Everton show. Well, what a historic week it's been for English football. Leicester City are the Premier League champions, and you can repeat that to yourself as many times as you like. It really won't register until we see the Foxes lift the trophy on Saturday evening after they play Everton, of course. It's going to be some party at the King Power this weekend, and the Toffees, of course, are invited. Snods, we can go to Leicester on Saturday afternoon, beat them 27-0. We ain't spoiling their party.
Certainly not, and they deserve a party as well. They've been fantastic. Been a breath of fresh air they have to the Premier League this season. Everybody were waiting for the bubble to burst. Everybody was saying, oh, they've got 3 difficult games in this certain month. The wheels will fall off, certainly, and they deserve everything they possibly get.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Fantastic, fantastic.
A superb football story. We'll preview Leicester City versus Everton later in this week's programme, and along the way we'll also hear from this lot.
I'm happy to be back. I think it's my first time in a while since I left. Everton is very special, always will be. I think I have a lot of good memories here and it's a big part of me.
Ross has been through it as well, hasn't he? So he's been through the same sort of path I'm going through. So he's give little tips, he knows the score, he knows how I feel and stuff like that, so he's been good to me.
He looked at me as if I had 3 heads when I said, listen, we can do it on a Sunday. You don't understand what Liverpool's like on a bank holiday weekend. I said, and any scouser in here knows this city just comes alive for bank holidays. I don't know what it is. You think it was Christmas or something.
It doesn't matter whether you're still competing for something or not. Whenever you go on the pitch, you try your best and you try to win.
I speak with some players, also from the staff. I continue talking by Facebook, stuff like this. And it's very good for me because they remind me my good years here.
Well, last weekend's win against Bournemouth may not have been a classic, but I think it's fair to say that it was a 3-point haul that Everton desperately needed. After the game, Roberto Martinez was a relieved man, but he also knew that the visitors from the South Coast were always going to make it tough for the Toffees.
Well, I think it's a very good objective, hard-earned. I think we had to dig deep at times. We had to show a lot of character, and we had to come into a situation where we score a very good goal early on when Tom Cleverley takes his goal really well after becoming a dad yesterday, and then considering that goal that we felt a little bit hard on because Matty Pennington gets impeded, but it was a long period from that point on, and we reacted in the right manner, and we made sure that we end up with a really good second goal and the 3 points in a performance that we knew it was going to be tough. We had to adjust a little bit with the amount of injuries that we had, but extremely satisfied to see Matty Pennington making his full debut and performing in the manner that he did, seeing Kieran Dowell making a debut in the Premier League and a well-deserved one, seeing Oumar Niasse being able to play up to an hour, which is something that we were desperate to see, and he was desperate to achieve since he signed for our football club. And then Tony Hibbert for the first time in the season after many little injuries. He showed that he's ready, that he's been working extremely hard to help the team, and overall we got a win down to those little aspects coming together and showing an incredible character and desire to win.
How did you feel Oumar did in his hour of football?
Well, he's learning the physicality of the league, and still not the finished article in that respect. But now he's fit enough. When he came, he needed to work in his own fitness, and now we got him in a position that he can compete. He will come to terms to the game. He's someone that, as you can see, he's got a real clever movement in behind centre halves, and he's got a penetrating run. He can hold the ball well as well, even though today probably he got caught with the physicality of Bournemouth defenders. But very positive to see him out there, to be able to show what he can do to the fans. I thought the relationship with that he developed with Ross Barkley at times, with Darren Gibson at times, was what you need in order to adapt into a new team, and he was very positive and a good step forward for him.
Well, as I've mentioned before on the Everton show, one of my post-match duties is to escort the man of the match into a couple of Goodison lounges. And on Saturday, it was a pleasure to do so with Matty Pennington. The young centre-half did really, really well on his very first Premier League start. And after the game, he confirmed that his own pleasure had been enhanced by the team, taking all 3 points.
Oh, it was brilliant. Surreal moment for me. A very proud moment for my family and my friends, and really glad that we got the result that we needed today.
Because you've got a very experienced player alongside you. He's only 4 months older than you in John Stones. How much did he talk you through the occasion? Yeah, all the players were brilliant with me. They gave me a little piece of advice, helped me through the game, and I thought we did well together. When did you know you were going to play today?
Just a couple of hours before kick-off in the pre-match meeting. I had a feeling I might be involved because of injuries and suspensions, but you don't know until you get that nod in the team meeting.
Early on, Callum Wilson gives you a nudge and it leads to the goal. What was your recollection of that incident?
I mean, I feel it was a foul. I'd have to look at it back, but I think it was. But we reacted well to it, I thought, and got back and won the game. So, you know, I'm happy with that.
You must be very pleased with the way you reacted to it as well, because it's a test. 10 minutes into your Premier League debut, you've been involved in the goal that the club has conceded. So what you were saying to yourself to get yourself through that moment?
You've just got to get over it and forget about it and carry on doing what you normally do. I mean, obviously it's hard with your Premier League debut, but their lads helped me through it, and I thought we did well in the end.
And from the club's point of view, how important was it to get a win today after the defeat last week in the semi-final and just the run of poor performances that the club has put in without a win in their previous 7 games?
Yeah, it's a big win for the club. Good to get the winning feeling back at Goodison for the fans. And, you know, we're all glad in the change rooms that we got the result.
Are you hoping that you've done enough to stay in the team next weekend now?
I hope so, but we'll have to see.
Matthew Pennington undoubtedly is an old head on young shoulders, and he done smashing, didn't he?
He speaks well as well. He comes across in his interview very, very well. He played very well. Me and you did commentary, Daz, and I gave him man of the match. I thought the game didn't come to life really. We won. That's the most important thing. But I thought his performance at centre back was fantastic because he had Bainsey on his side as well, left back. And he played left hand side of the back four. So overall, he'll have had Bainsey talking to him through the game. But what I liked about him, he competed for every header, which most of them he won. He likes a tackle, and he has no nonsense. If it needs clearing, he'll clear it up the field. Or there were one instance, he nearly cleared the Bullings Road stand. So I like to see that in a defender.
Matthew Pennington is your type of defender, isn't he?
He is a no-nonsense defender. He's comfortable on the ball, but when it needs to be tackled or kicked, he does it, and that's why I like him.
He's a smashing lad with a very big future. Well, the Everton under-21s have had a terrific end to their season, and after their final fixture earlier this week away at Chelsea, they were very well placed in 3rd position in the Barclays Premier League under-21 table. David Unsworth has done a fantastic job with the young players, and so, as you can imagine, his end-of-term report will make for very pleasant reading.
It was a good point against a very, very good Chelsea team. We know the strengths and we know how good their individuals are and collective of a team. So it was a great point, a great battling display, great defensive display. We played a different way of playing, different formation to really stop them playing because they've got exciting young players, and we wanted to stop them getting on the ball. So the lads took on board the information brilliantly. The best I've seen really in terms of taking on board information to then carry out a game plan. It was as a coach and as their manager, it was great to see. But they've been like that all season, and they've been a credit, absolute credit to this football club.
And at any level, to go on an unbeaten run at that many games, it's got to be pleasing.
Yeah, we try and combine them both. You know, which we're looking for performances. We're looking for top individual performances within a team frame, within a framework of producing wins. So that's really important that they have both, that they individually perform. But you know, this is Everton, and we expect to win games, and we expect top performances. And you know, barring one performance all season, they've done that.
We're just speaking off camera then, David. You're coming towards the end of your 2nd full year in the head coach role for the under-21s, and you look at some of the lads who have progressed through to get first team debuts. It's, you know, there's a sizable amount of names there, isn't there? You know, some players have done excellently.
There is, but we want more. You know, and that's the challenge that we say to the players every day. What we always do, we always celebrate that success of whoever makes the debut, and we embarrass them the next day, and we make sure that we all make that player aware that we're very proud of them, and that it's only the start. And for me, it just carries on. It's like, who's going to be next? Who's the next one after that? Who's going to do it next season? You know, if we get 3 or 4 that we've had this year, can we get 4 or 5 next year? And it never stops. You never stop wanting to produce players, and that's the whole academy. That's myself. That's the under-21 team, who behind the scenes, our under-21 staff do a brilliant job with our players, and the academy staff along the journeys do a brilliant job. So, as much as I sit here, it's not just me. There's a whole host of top people in the fields who contribute to the success of our young players.
Snods, when you consider the amount of players that Unzi's had to give away on loan this season, key players for his under-21 squad, I know we've said this before, he's done a fantastic job.
He's done brilliant, and the best bit about it, Daz, is the players like Unzi. They want to play for him, and we've had plenty of players out on loan that Big Joe's put out on loan, but the players, we've had 3 this season who's made the debuts as well, Premier League debuts. He's got some great talent with him there, but he does it well himself. Dave, he comes across well. He likes his teams to play football, but he likes them to work hard as well and stop the opposition. Sign of a good manager, a good team, and he's certainly got that with the under-21s.
And he was also the type of defender that you like as well, wasn't he?
He was.
The big rhino. And that brings us to the end of part 1 of this week's show. After a short break, we'll be back and we'll feature our annual Supporters Club Awards that we staged on Tuesday night. We'll bring you the pick of Tony Bellew's big fight press conference, and we'll hear from an Italian football legend who just happened to drop by at Goodison recently. Welcome back to part 2 of this week's show. Our first guest interviewee of this section of the programme is in the Italian Football Hall of Fame. He won the Serie A title with Sampdoria and again with Juventus, with whom he also won the Champions League. And when he came to England, he enjoyed a trophy-laden spell with Chelsea as a player and then as a manager. He also, don't forget, played a big part in preserving Everton's Premier League status at the end of the 1997-98 campaign. It was a surprise to see Gianluca Vialli at Goodison recently, but he was charming company.
I have. I don't have great memories actually about this stadium, which is beautiful. But with Chelsea, I don't think that we ever won. Possibly I never scored, so it's nice to be back. But it'd be nicer for me to have better memories about this stadium, this place.
Does it remind you of any traditional grounds in Italy, Goodison Park? Obviously, this is full of history.
No, I was just saying that it's an old-fashioned, beautiful English stadium. I think the atmosphere is terrific, so close to the pitch, no boundaries, and I mean, the structure is quite old, but it smells of history. So it's good. It's good. It would be nice to have a modern stadium with a lot of facilities and very modern. But even an old stadium like this can be incredibly attractive. And as a fan, I think that apart from these pillars, the experience must be that blocks the view from time to time. I think the experience must be awesome.
Got to ask you about the 97-98 season. A lot of Everton fans will thank you for what you did with Chelsea on the final day of the season.
Of course. Yes, of course. That's very English, meaning that it doesn't matter whether you're still competing for something or not. Whenever you go on the pitch, you try your best and you try to win. In Italy, it's not exactly the same. If you don't have anything to play for, then you would make it much easier for your opposition, especially if they are playing for something very important. But yes, we played Derby, I think. That was probably my last match I was playing and managing, but it was probably the last match I played as a player. I came on in the second half and I scored and we won 2-0. And I remember the Everton fans sitting in one stand cheering. The Bolton friends, being very sad, but the Everton fans were quite happy because beating them it meant that they stayed up. Everton stayed up.
So as when we started this Everton show, I knew we'd have a wide variety of guests, but I never dreamt we'd have somebody from the Italian Soccer Hall of Fame who was once World Player of the Year. And what a player, by the way.
Fantastic player, and a good manager as well for Chelsea, but as a player, I'd more or less come to the end of my career, but watching him on TV and watching him live a couple of times, I thought, what a player. And he played the English way as well, didn't dive around us, got on, worked extremely hard as well, mixed in with all his teammates, and a credit to himself and a credit to Chelsea, he really was.
And also he scored his goals in Italy in the 80s when the Italians were famous for defending so well, keeping clean sheets, and yet he was still top scorer in the Serie A, which says a lot about him.
Yeah, and the national team. He was fantastic. He was just a great out-and-out player, and there's no wonder that he's in the Italian Hall of Fame. They're really in, but he comes across really well, he speaks really well, and he did us a massive favour that year as well when he was manager and they beat Bolton Wanderers. Daz, we'll never forget that.
Chelsea had the European Cup Winners' Cup final 4 days later. Nobody outside of Goodison Park would have blamed Gianluca Vialli for playing a reserve team that day, but all credit to him. He put a team out, they put a shift in, and they won.
Yeah, and that's what he said about English football. He says that's what I like about English football. Right to the last game, you try your best, you work hard, and you try and get results. So he certainly did that with his Chelsea team, and we're forever grateful.
So it's down to Gianluca Vialli and Graham Stewart 4 years earlier.
Yeah,
that we're in the Premier League. Well, the lifeblood of any football club are its official supporters club. At Everton, we like to think we have an excellent relationship with all our supporters clubs, and we try to get out and see them whenever we can. However, earlier this week, we invited all of them into Goodison Park for the annual Everton Supporters Club Awards night, and it was a terrific evening.
Gareth Barry and Romelu Lukaku were the big winners at the annual Everton Supporters Club Awards on Tuesday evening, scooping Player of the Season and Goal of the Season respectively. Over 140 Blues representing dozens of different branches of Everton's global network of fan groups attended the event at Goodison Park, with midfielder Barry there to collect his prize in person. Also in attendance were club ambassadors Graham Sharp, Graham Stewart and Ian Snowden, who all took to the stage before 9-year-old George Shaw was crowned Supporter of the Year. Barry, who has played 37 times this season, was a popular winner of the main prize, while Lukaku's stunning FA Cup effort against Chelsea was voted the best strike of the past 10 months. Attention's now turned to Everton's end-of-season awards, which take place at St George's Hall next Thursday.
That was a great night, wasn't it, Snods?
Yeah, we've been on the road to a few supporters clubs this season. Myself, yourself, Daz, and Richard Kenyon, Sharpie, etc., and Diamond. And it's great to go out and see them. But then they all came collectively for the supporters Player of the Year, which rightly so. I think he's had a terrific season, Gareth Barry. He really has. But yeah, it's great being amongst the fans. They're quite sensible. They ask sensible questions, and we're only too pleased to be with them.
And of course, last weekend you and I went to Yorkshire, back to God's country, as you'd say, to see the Wakefield Blues, and they looked as if they were having a terrific time.
Yeah, they did. It was a great afternoon. Went up there Bank Holiday Sunday, and yeah, loads of young Evertonians there as well. That's the beauty of it, seeing them kids in the Everton shirt, because they're the future Everton fans. So yeah, we had a great afternoon up there. Plenty from my hometown as well, Doncaster up there. So
we're well supported up there, Snods, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, which is quite surprising. I think it's due to me playing in the 80s. I think they all took a shine to me and Everton Football Club. But no, realistically, they are a great bunch, and the supporters clubs they have been fantastic when we've been on the road, Daz. They really appreciate us going there, and we appreciate what they do for us.
And they voted Gareth Barry as their Player of the Season. That's probably just about right. And he was great on the night as well.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's a pro. He knows what it's all about. He's very experienced, and he's not only a terrific player, but he's good with the supporters as well.
It was another great night with all our fans at Goodison Park. And of course, Goodison Park is one of the most iconic footballing arenas in the country. But on Sunday, the 29th of May, the whole place will be transformed into a boxing venue. Lifelong Evertonian Tony Bellew has dreamed of fighting at Goodison since he was a small boy. Well, his wait is nearly over, and his dream is about to become a reality when he takes on Alunga Makubu for the WBC Cruiserweight Championship of the World. His first order of business at the press conference, though, was to wind up fellow boxers and massive Liverpool fans David Price and Stephen Smith.
Well, I'd just like to say my biggest victory is sitting at this table and seeing David Price and Stephen Smith with Everton badges above their name. I think that's just a great victory, first and foremost. I'm just gutted I couldn't have Paul and Callum as well with two similar badges above their names. But time can get that. But like I say, listen, it's been amazing. It's been a story that I couldn't tell you how much work's gone into it, because there's been so much done behind the scenes. And when we did finally get down to that meeting, there was a meeting with us in a room in this place. And we sit there and we all looked at June the 4th. So while this meeting's going on, we said, straight away, people from the club just said, listen, I'm telling you now, June the 4th can't happen. Something's going on with the pitch. And the words out of Eddie's mouth was, right, that was the quickest meeting I've ever had. I've got to go and do a show with Callum Smith for tomorrow. I'll see you after, goodbye. And I just said, whoa, just stop a minute. It's not ending like that. We looked at the calendar, and there was only one day available because Ricky Burns was already fighting for the world title. And with the 1 date available was Sunday the 29th of May, my son's 8th birthday. And first of all, they looked at me as if I had three heads when I said, listen, we can do it on a Sunday. You don't understand what Liverpool's like on a bank holiday weekend. I said, and any scouser in here knows this city just comes alive for bank holidays. I don't know what it is. You think it was Christmas or something. But I just can't explain what it is. I've been part of this mad city my whole life. I'm a scouser. I'm a mad Evertonian. And bank holiday weekends, there's no better weekend for it to happen. On the 29th of May, I'm going to become WBC World Champion. I don't give how good he is, who he is, where he's from, what he's going to do. I'm going to win that title, and I'm going to do it in front of how many thousands of Scousers, not just Evertonian Scousers, because ultimately that's what's going to be in this park, full of Scousers, going nuts.
And Birkenhead, John.
And Birkenhead as well.
That will be a special occasion at Goodison Park, Snods, won't it?
It really will. Lacks a bit of confidence though, doesn't he, Tony, to be honest? If he had confidence, he'd be world champion now. But no, he's great. He's a massive Evertonian. There's no question about that. We're passionate about our club, Daz, but he is as well. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him. Everton, he's wanted this since he was a young boy. He's got the stage. It's a tough fight. And he's gonna feel pressure when he comes down them steps and gets the Z cars booming out. And I watched the full press conference myself, and I watched it back, and he says he can't wait. He said he'll be tingling when Z cars. He said it's going to be booming, flashing blue lights. So I'm excited. I can't wait, and I know he'll deliver. He'll deliver for the Evertonians and this city.
You've played in massive football games, Snods, where you felt the excitement before the game, but at some point you sort of try and got to step away from that and regain some self-control, haven't you? And Tony's going to have to do that.
Yeah, he is. He's going to be, obviously there's plenty of bouts on, Big David Price and Stephen Smith, who are both Reds as well. So it just shows it ain't just an Everton thing, this. It's a city.
Yeah.
They want Liverpool fans there to come and cheer Pricey on, and they just want the city to get behind their boxes. I think there'll be a great attendance. But you're right, he's got to be one of them. He's got to be composed, and he will. It'll be great when he's walking out, and he'll feel fantastic with his blue and white shorts on and his robe and that. But once they get in that ring, it's like football, Daz. Once they'll switch off, they'll forget about the crowd.
Really?
Yeah, I really think that. I wouldn't get in a boxing ring for no money, but they know how to do it. They're professional, and when it comes to, he'll do the business.
There's a few people that would like to get you into a boxing ring, I'm
I
sure.
bet there is.
And that's the end of part 2. After the break, we'll return with our big interview slot. And this week, it's with our former Nigerian international centre-half, Joseph Yobo. We'll be back very shortly. Welcome back to this week's Everton show. Now, after becoming David Moyes' first signing for Everton, Joseph Yobo played over 250 times for the club, including, of course, at Wembley in the 2009 FA Cup final. Joseph was a hugely popular figure with the supporters, the staff and the players alike. So it was lovely to see him back at Goodison Park last week, where he got a wonderful half-time reception from the fans. And he also got the added bonus of joining me for the Everton show big interview.
Yeah, it does. I'm happy to be back. I think it's my first time in a while since I left. Everton is very special, always will be. I think I have a lot of good memories here, and it's a big part of me.
What do you recall of the move from Marseille to Everton? How did it come about?
I think it all started with Nigeria playing a game against Ireland, and Moyes was in touch with my agent, so he came to watch me. I think after the game, we spoke, but it wasn't a deal yet. I didn't know I was gonna come, but we had a chat about it. I said it was possible, so I went to the World Cup, and he still followed me to the World Cup. So after the World Cup, I knew I was coming here, but we couldn't finalize. So it happened to be like a loan deal to see what happens and everything. But I think it started with Moyes in 2002. So.
Had there always been a dream of yours to play in the English Premier League?
Yeah, it's always been. I think when I started playing, and even in the national team, everyone said I was so quick and strong that the Premier League will suit my style of play. So I was always looking for that opportunity, and I was glad when everything came on board, and I was happy about it, that I made the right choice. I think after the World Cup, I had other options, but I think Moyes convinced me, and I chose Everton.
David Moyes could be a very convincing man, couldn't he?
Yeah, he never gives up. I think you know, he's a strong character, and he has his convictions of what he believes in, and he was able to convince me to come to Everton, and I'm very happy. I'm delighted I made that decision.
It was a good dressing room for a young centre-half to come into, wasn't it, with the likes of Alan Stubbs and David Weir, two very good, very experienced players to learn from.
Yeah, very good. You know, I think I came in here not knowing much of the players, but when I came in, they helped me settle very well. And like, you know, the centre-back position, you know, the older you get, the better you become, you know, with positioning and everything. So I think Alan Stubbs and David Weir, they were very experienced. I had the pace, the strength, and every other thing. So I think we complemented each other, and they really helped me a lot, and I learned a lot from them.
And when you first started at Everton, there was a certain Wayne Rooney that had just started at Everton at the age of 16. Just how good was he then?
Oh, I think I remember, like, we went for a preseason game, and he came on board, and he was in my, you know, he was supposed to share a room with me, and then I was like, who's this young kid? But seeing him in training was brilliant. I just knew, like, you know, he had that talent to be world class. He showed it every day in training, and there was something special about him. The way he hits the ball, his eyes for goal, he was quick and strong, you know, so he was a special player, and it was good that, you know, he came through Everton, and, you know, I was here when he graduated to the senior team and made such a big impact.
Yourself and Joleon Lescott had a really strong defensive partnership, didn't you?
Yes, we did, you know, Joleon and myself, I think we had a good understanding. I think basically, you know, everyone I played with, you know, I had a good partnership with them, but with Joleon was also special because we could understand each other more. We're both young and strong and very quick, so it was a bit easier. I think those seasons we played together, we did very well as well. It was also a learning process, and it was good to have everybody.
Every time I speak to any of the boys that played in the 2009 FA Cup final, I always ask them the same question. Do you think we scored too early? Do you think Louis' goal was just too early?
Yeah, I think such is football. I think no one really very few people gave us a chance to win the game. But, you know, when Louis scored, you know, I think we got too excited. You know, like you said, maybe not. But, you know, we look back and think, you know, we had an early goal. I think probably we could have done better, you know, to keep it at least 2-1. So that was a big chance for us, you know, to win something. But it was a good experience, you know. It's gone now, and then we'll learn from it. But very special moment for me, you know, to be part of that team.
When you left Everton, did you feel a much more rounded player? Did you feel a better defensive player than you had done when you first arrived?
Yes, I did, you know, because I learned a lot from here. I think most of my education in football came from Everton. Like, when I came, like, everybody tells me, like, I had almost everything. I was very talented. But when you come to Everton, you learn a lot, like positioning, and I was playing in a very critical position. So I learned a lot from here. So when I left, you know, I was more an established player, full of experience, that I could make the hard things look easy. So I think I was more a complete player when I left Everton.
And I know from speaking to you at the time, Joe, that you loved your relationship with the Evertonians. Whenever the Yobo chant went up, it was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. I think I had a wonderful moment here. The fans are always very special. They were always very nice to me. Even everybody in the city as well, the city was good to me. So I had very special moment, and that's why I think, you know, I'm a big part of Everton. Been here 7-8 years. It's not easy playing so many games as well. I wasn't just a part-time player, so we had that relationship and that moment, you know, good and bad times. You know, the Everton fans were there for me, and I appreciate it.
How proud are you to have won over 100 caps for Nigeria?
Very special. It's a proud moment, and also being the first player to do it. You know, you look at the generations of other great players from Nigeria, but no one got to that point. And being the first to get to 100 caps, I think is phenomenal. It's something that I really cherish. I didn't really know the meaning until I got too close when I was the most capped player. And at 87 caps, everyone said, yeah, you're going to be the first to get to 100. And everyone wanted it, so I'm delighted that I got it.
How's our old friend, the Yak? How's he doing?
Yeah, Yak is doing all right. I think he's in Turkey. You know, Yak will always be the same. So, you know, he's enjoying it, and you know, I'm looking forward to also see him soon.
We'll finish off on your testimonial, Joseph. What's happening there?
Yeah, it's on the 27th. It's a centenary testimonial game. Like, I'm celebrating being the first Nigerian to play 100 games. You know, like, I think that is very special for my country, because even the fans, the media, everybody wanted me to have it. Because as big as Nigeria is, a footballing country, we didn't have any. So this is what we're putting together on the 27th, and my testimonial have been out due to injury. So I'm just putting the both together at the same time, and just celebration time. I think I had a great career, great memories, so I just want to live on a happy note.
You're going to put the boots on yourself and have a go?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a go. I can play. You know, I've been out through injury. I can still play, but I've just decided to do this now. So it's gonna be a special day for me, and I think people are gonna see one of my best football again.
What other players can we expect to see in this game?
Yeah, I'm talking to a lot of players. You know, and that's why I came here. I think every team that I played is always special to have people that I played with. And I'm here today. I've already spoken to Louis, I've spoken to Howard, I've spoken to Pina, and I'm here to speak to other players. Like, it's players that I play with other friends, but they're also going to be surprised. Many big names are turning up. I know this is the media thing, so I decided to leave that out because they don't, you know. But it's a special moment. I think people coming to my country to honor me. I think, you know, I couldn't have asked for any more, and it's going to be a great game, filled up with stars against my national team. Because my national team, I fall between the legends and the younger generation. So you have the JJs, the Kano, everybody is going to play. Like, you know, it's going to be a massive game.
It'll be a special occasion, that, won't it, for the supporters, for the football supporters in Nigeria who love their football.
Yeah.
That'll be an amazing game.
Yeah, it'll be amazing because I don't think they've really seen, especially for the national team, they've not seen all these players, these great players. We have an era that they call them legends, and I fall between that era, so they've not seen them play together. So I'm bringing the legends and the younger generation together to play as a team. And then they're having my friends, people coming all over the world, the stars, so it's going to be a great game. It's going to be amazing for the fans. I think it's one in a lifetime opportunity. So
I know it's a lot of hard work to put together, Joe. Best of luck and thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure having me.
Snods, it's fair to say we didn't know a great deal about Joseph Yobo when he joined us from Marseille. David Moyes' first signing, as I alluded to. But he had a good career with Everton.
Did have a good career. He weren't the most gifted. He weren't a John Stones on the ball. But I tell you what, he was quick. He was strong. But there weren't many attackers, like to play against Joseph Yobo. That's the first I knew that he got 100 caps as well for Nigeria. So
which is some achievement.
It is some achievement, and he's the only one so far because Nigeria have had some fantastic players over the years, and yeah, I'm sure lots of lads will turn up for him because he seemed, I didn't know him in particular, Daz, but he seems a nice lad as well.
He's one of those guys who just lights up a room every time he smiles, Joseph Yobo. Lovely lad.
And Wayne Rooney's first roommate, eh?
Which I didn't know.
Yeah, that you didn't know as well. But no, he does seem a great lad, and he was an honest defender. And yeah, everybody who wears that blue shirt does. I'm always proud of him anyway.
Back in 2002, you were watching a lot of football. Were you in on the Wayne Rooney secret? Did you know that there was a superstar at 13, 14, 15, 16 waiting to bounce through?
I knew when he was 14, Colin Harvey told me. I said, have we got anything special, Colin? And he invited me to come and watch this game. And he went, I'm not going to tell you who it is, where he plays or anything. He says, but I bet you'll be able to tell me after 5 minutes. And he did. He played against Sheffield Wednesday. And this lad got into his feet, turned the defender, and he had the audacity to chip a 6-foot keeper. And it hit the crossbar. And I just looked over, and Colin were over the far side, and I just shouted, Colin! And he went, like that. That was in the first 5 minutes, Daz, and I thought, wow. And I watched him for the rest of the game, and I thought, this kid is going to be a player.
Now, if Colin Harvey thinks you've got a chance, you have got a chance.
You have, because he's hard to please, Colin. He really was, and fantastic man. I love seeing him at Goodison. When he goes, he was down at Wembley amongst the fans as well. So he's a lifelong Evertonian. He's a legend, Colin Harvey. And to please him, you must be special.
But try telling Colin Harvey he's a legend, and he won't have it.
He won't have it. He is a legend. He's fantastic to me. He made me captain a few times at the club when Dave Watson were injured. He gave me the captaincy. So I'm forever grateful to Colin. I really am. He could have sold me, Daz. I said I wanted to stay. He accepted that. And then a few months later, he's phoning Bobby Robson up and saying, I've got the best right back in the country. So I must have been doing something right for Colin to do that for me.
And he could still play, couldn't he?
Oh, brilliant. Head tennis. You didn't want to be on his team because he was so competitive, really were. You'd pick your number out of a cup, and if you got, and Colin had said, right, who's on number 2? And you'd think, oh, God, I'm on number 2. Because if you made a mistake playing head tennis, he used to crucify you, really did. So I didn't like being on his team, but he was a great player.
Absolutely, an absolute genuine legend. Right, we're 3/4 of the way through this week's Everton show. We'll bring you a few adverts right now, but don't go too far away because after the break, we'll be hearing from our former Greek striker, Apostolos Vellios, remember him? And we'll be looking ahead to the weekend visit to the champions with Kieran Dowell and Roberto Martinez. Welcome to the fourth and final segment of this week's programme. Now, the name Apostolos Vellios wasn't overly well known, to say the least, when he joined Everton in January 2011. But the young striker did get some first-team action. He also scored a few goals, including one I remember at Chelsea, just 18 seconds after coming on as a substitute. These days, Apostolos is back in Greece with Iraklis, the club where it all began for him. But he popped into Finch Farm last week to see his old pals.
It was a little bit difficult for me the first months, but trust me, they got people in the team that he can help you with everything, and they make me feel home, like home in a minute, you know. But about the weather and stuff like this was a little bit difficult for me because I'm coming from a country a little bit also different. But no, I felt like home really quick. It was very nice for me.
And the Everton supporters loved you while you were here as well. How much did that mean to you?
It means everything. When the supporters loves you, you continue better. You can play better football. But you know, all this, if I love them too. You know, when somebody loves you and they show the love in this football, the football player is very important. That.
Your first goal came against Wigan a few years ago now. What can you remember about that goal?
The goal. They didn't score many goals, huh? but the first against Wigan was really good, but also against Chelsea it's not very important goal because we lost 3-1, but for me it meant a lot. I mean, it was also quick and against one big team.
So scoring the goal against Wigan in front of the Gwladys Street end, that must have meant a lot to you.
Yeah, it was the first goal, and also we took some points. So yeah, and it was a goal, home goal, means a lot to me also.
So overall, you've taken plenty of good memories from Everton Football Club?
I have only good memories from this club, and I hope I see you soon.
Is watching Everton something you still do back home? Do you still keep in touch with the club?
No, I speak with some players, also from the staff. I continue talking, you know, by Facebook, stuff like this, and it's very good for me because they remind me my good years here.
And Everton is still your club. You still watch them on TV when you can?
Yeah, for sure. I'm watching, and I cannot do different, you know, because I lived here 3.5 years. I truly love this team. It's a passion team, and I continue, you know, watch games.
Against nods the name, Apostolos Vellios wasn't well known to Evertonians when he signed for the football club under David Moyes, but he scored a few goals, and it's a difficult arena, isn't it, for a young centre-forward, the English Premier League?
Yeah, it really is, but what I liked in his interview there, Daz, he says he was loved by the Evertonians when he did play, and you play better when you're loved. You really do, because it can be hard when you're not a fan's favourite and things are going wrong, they're getting on to you, but when you're liked, and most players are in an Everton shirt anyway, but when you're liked, you play with a bit more confidence and it's a bit more warming. He didn't play that many games, but he conducted himself around the club very well, and when he did his utmost best to bring some success to Everton.
And he's doing well back in Greece, and he even made his international debut very recently, so good luck to him. Right, let's start to assess the champions of England. Hopefully the men who have caused one of the biggest upsets in English sporting history will have been celebrating long and hard all week, so that when we rock into the King Power for the coronation on Saturday, we can nick the 3 points. It's certainly an occasion that teenager Kieran Dowell is really looking forward to, with the youngster also still revelling in his Premier League bow.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I know I've made my debut in the Europa League before, but this felt even more special because it's proper in the Premier League. It's what you aspire to.
Was it an easy game to come into?
You could say easier than others, but with the situation when I came on, it was backs to the wall sort of thing. So it was about digging in, getting making sure we got the win.
And when you came on, I guess it was just try and get involved, run around, try and put yourself about, try and get involved in the action.
Yeah, obviously I had all the energy in the world, all the adrenaline, so just wanted to try and get involved, get many touches as I could on the ball, and try and make an effect on the game.
Were there any nerves leading up into the game then?
Obviously, yeah, there's nerves. You're a bit anxious about what's going to happen and stuff. But to be fair, once I was warming up and the crowd gave me a good reception, that made it a lot easier for me. All the players helped as well.
And how did you find it in the week or two leading up into the game in terms of being around the first team, training with them here at Finch Farm?
Yeah, they're really good with you. They make you really welcome. You feel like you're part of the group. So I enjoy training with them a lot. They're really good players. So it's been quite normal, really.
Any particular players said anything to you in terms of settling you down, welcoming you into the group?
Ross has been through it as well, hasn't he? So he's been through the same sort of path I'm going through. So he's give little tips. He knows the score, he knows how I feel and stuff like that. So he's been good to me.
And looking forward now to these last 3 games of the season for you, hopefully some more minutes.
You never know, yeah. I'm happy to be in and around the first team towards the end of the season, and try and take any opportunities you can get.
It'll be a great experience for someone like yourself to go to Leicester this weekend. For ourselves though, it's to try and spoil the party.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to go there and let them enjoy themselves. We want to win and put a bit of a downer on it, but that makes sense. But yeah, we're looking forward to the game. It's going to be a big occasion, and hopefully we'll enjoy it.
And for yourself, if you could get involved in that game, it'd be a brilliant experience for you in terms of the watching world. Will have their eyes on the King Power Stadium at 5:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, any opportunity you get, it doesn't really matter who's watching. It's about people in the club you want to impress. So you hear it's on Sky and stuff like that. It's a big, massive game everyone will be watching, but you just want to impress the people who matter really.
Snods, Leicester City versus Everton on Saturday. Surely it's the ideal opportunity to play Kieran Dowell, because whoever he's up against will have been on the champagne for 5 days.
Yeah, they would have done as well. But no, kids like him deserve a game. He'd been playing well most of the season for the 21s. We showed that we're not afraid to blood youngsters as well. But what an ideal opportunity. Going to the champions, the atmosphere that day will be unbelievable at Leicester. It really will, because they make some noise on a normal match day, but getting presented with a trophy, playing Everton, it'll be extra special. So as a player, whether you're young, experienced, you want to play in a game like that.
Well, Everton go to the King Power on Saturday with a poor away record against the Foxes. You have to go right back to 1997 for our last win away at Leicester. And of course that was at Filbert Street. This weekend's game has something of a carnival feel about it, and Roberto Martinez has every praise for the astonishing achievement of Claudio Ranieri.
We know we're going to face a team that they are probably in the best moment of confidence that you could find them, and clearly for me they've been the deserved winners of the Premier League this season in a very, very competitive league, and clearly I think they're going to be playing with that sort of swagger, and we'll congratulate them, and from that point on we'll focus on trying to be a team that we can perform against them.
They've been doing a little bit of celebrating already. Is that going to affect their performance this weekend, what do you think?
Well, it's difficult for me to assess that. I don't know up to what extent. I think, I'm sure any sort of celebration could affect you in the long term if you had to face a difficult month. I don't think in a 90 minutes game where the stadium is going to be surrounded of a historic environment. I'm sure that can only be positive for the home team.
When they came here in December and won, they were top of the league at that stage. Did you honestly think they'd last the course?
Well, I don't think you're looking at the teams that they were competing against Leicester at that point, and you just feel that there's still a long battle to go, and probably you're looking at the incredible intensity that Leicester City they've been playing. You've got a question mark. They are in an unknown situation, fighting for the title, and you don't know how the team is going to react and if they're going to be able to keep that intensity. And I think that's where it's been a remarkable journey for Claudio Ranieri and his men to be able to maintain that intensity, that concentration, and that togetherness. No major injuries, and they've been a real inspiration in terms of a winning team, and not just in football. I think in sport throughout to have that drive and that intensity to achieve something, and then against all odds. It's been the real fairy tale of football, and I think in sport in general, in the modern game.
Snods, I'm really looking forward to going to Leicester on Saturday. It will be a carnival, but surely the Everton players won't enjoy being bit part players.
Certainly not. I didn't. I was involved in throughout my career a couple of teams getting promoted when I was playing at Doncaster and Leeds, and I hated it. I really did. I wanted to spoil the party, and that's what most players will do. The Everton players will be up for this game. I'm sure they'll applaud the Leicester players. But once the game kicks off, then all expectations are Everton to go out and get 3 points and spoil the party completely. So hopefully the boys will be up for it. They'll come back from Leicester, yeah. Leicester fans will have a great day, but hopefully with no points.
It'd be nice to win our last 4 games, wouldn't it?
It'd be fantastic, really
good. And that brings us to the end of this week's show. On Saturday, we'll be trying to stop a striker who 4 years ago was playing for Fleetwood Town, and we'll be trying to keep tabs on a man who was playing in the French second division just 2 seasons ago. This weekend, though, Jamie Vardy, the Footballer of the Year, and Riyad Mahrez, the PFA Player of the Year, will be lining up against Everton for the Premier League champions. Full commentary of Leicester City versus Everton will be on evertonfc.com with me and Snods from the kick-off time of 5:30. We hope you've enjoyed this week's show. We've certainly enjoyed your company.